This is the video that's going to go with chapter 26, which is about the present participle. The present participle you have seen in several of your stories already, probably since the beginning of the yellow book. Participles are pretty easy to translate if you just treat them like an adjective. So, like it says here, this is from the back of your book, page 133. Participles are verbal adjectives. They decline like ingens, which is going to be your third declension adjective, except for the ablative singular, which ends in E and not a long I. As adjectives, they always agree with a noun or pronoun in case, gender, and number. So, just like a regular adjective, when it's modifying a noun, it's going to agree in the same way. You have the sentence, the conspirators left Caesar lying on the ground. So the conspirators, relinquerent, left Caesar, Jacentem, lying on the ground. Jacentem is modifying Caesar. Who's lying on the ground? Caesar, always. So Jacentem is going to be accusative singular, just like Caesar is accusative singular. In the next sentence, Orbilius watched the boys entering the school. Who is entering the school? The boys. So you've got pueros in the accusative singular, and then entrantes also in the accusative singular. And notice jacentem and entrantes are going to use your third declension noun endings. As verbs, they can take an object, like in the second example, entrantes agrees with pueros, the object of spectavit, but it has itself an object, which is ludem. What are they entering? The school. Don't get yourself worked up about that. That's fine. I feel like logically that follows. That's not something that you're necessarily going to have to like describe to me. The present participles from the 5 conjugation look like this. So your nominative singular in the present participle is always going to end with an NS. Always, always, always. So that's pretty easy. Then in your other cases, you're going to have an NT before the case ending. So your genitive, again, is going to serve as your root, just like a third declension noun would do. So the nominative is always going to be NS. Everything else is going to have an NT before the ending, and you're going to use ing to translate it. So preparing, warning, ruling, taking, hearing. It's a present participle. It's a continuing action. Like here, Caesar was lying on the ground when this happened. Watch the boys entering the school. They were entering the school when he was watching them. The present participles of all verbs are formed regularly except for eo, which has a nominative singular ens. I don't know if I've ever seen that in real life, but all other cases starting with e, so auntem, auntes, aunti, aunte. And that one's more common than your nominative singular. So same thing, it's still going to end with ns, and you're still going to have nt here in the stem. Okay, I want to take a look at some of the exercises. So in your assignment, for example, you have a choice of doing 26.1, 5 through 10. So right now I'll do 1 through 5 here on this lesson so you can see what's going on, and then we'll do 26.3 as well. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the whiteboard, hopefully. Yes, okay. Hooray. This is 26.1. So your first sentence says, well, let's read the directions first. I just like the sentences. And the following sentences say what noun or pronoun the participle agrees with, and then translate the whole sentence. Okay, cool, we can do that. So quintus ad ludem festinans forum transibat. So first of all, where is the present participle? Let's do that. Your present participle is going to be modifying quintus, so hopefully that tells you what case it's going to be, and you're looking for festinans. So festinans is your present participle. It's a modifying quintus, and they're both going to be nominative singular. And then your sentence is going to say, something along the lines of Quintus, hurrying, was crossing the forum to school. Or you could say Quintus, hurrying to school, was crossing the forum. Either way would be fine. Since ludum is in this sort of construction next to festinons, in front of festinons, you'd probably take it that way. So Quintus, hurrying to school, was crossing the forum. Okay, sentence number 2. Subito aliquem videt ad se currentem. So first of all, where is your present participle? It's going to be currentem. You know it is currentem because of the NT in the stem there. This one is a little bit tricky. Remember that these sentences kind of go in a story. So what is currentem modifying? Currentem itself is accusative singular, so we need an accusative singular, which in this case is going to be aliquem. So suddenly he saw someone running towards him. So accusative singular, currentem, modifying somebody, which is also accusative singular. Number 3. Quintus Marco occurrit ad I was supposed to say Kirkham, probably. Kirkham procedenti. I wonder if I can put a C in there. Probably not. That doesn't like me. That's fine. So where is your present participle? Procedenti has your NT. So that's going to be your present participle. What case is procedenti? You might have to look at your chart, your noun chart, or you can see that procedenti is going to be modifying Marco. So in this case, you need to be a little bit careful when you're translating. So these are both going to be dative singular, Marco procedenti. So Quintus met or ran into Marcus proceeding to the circus. Remember that Marcus is doing the one proceeding to the circus, not Quintus. So don't say Quintus proceeding to the circus ran into Marcus. Be careful there. You need to indicate that Marcus is doing the proceeding. Number 4. Plurimos homines spectabant ad circum, oh, there we go, convenientes. So what's your present participle? It's going to be convenientes. You've got the NT there in the stem. And what is convenientes modifying? Here we can say homines. You could say plurimos homines, that's fine. These are both going to be accusative plural. How do I know that they're accusative plural? I've got a plural verb here. So how do I know that homines is not the subject? That clue is here in plurimos. Plurimos has to be accusative. And the only thing it can be modifying is homines because it's plural as well. So again, this is a little story. So they were looking at many men convening at the circus. Okay, so these two have to be accusative. That has to be accusative as well because the subject of spectabon is they, Quintus and Marcus. Number 5. Quintus Marcusque circum intrantes perturbam se trucerunt. So where's your present participle? It's going to be intrantes with your NT there in the stem. And what is intrantes modifying? It's going to be plural because it ends with S. So what could be plural here in this sentence? We're going to go with the compound subject of Quintus and Marcus. So Quintus and Marcus entering the circus found themselves, or pushed themselves through the crowd. This is plural, and in this case, it's going to be nominative to agree with Quintus and Marcus. Okay. So for part of your assignment, you have the choice of doing 5 through 10, and I did 5 right there for you. And then another part of that assignment is, or another section of the assignment for chapter 26 is 26.3. So I'm going to do 1 through 5 and 26.3, or 1 through 4, because I'm out of room on this whiteboard. If you choose to do 26.2, that is a composition section, so you can kind of play around with that. Translate the following sentences using clauses to translate the participles. So up here, they're talking about sometimes the Latin participle may be translated by a clause in English. So Horatia approached her mother while she was resting in the garden, or who was resting in the garden. Horatia approached her mother resting in the garden, I think is fine. But here they're trying to, I think, be a little more specific about who's performing the action of that present participle. When I asked this, my father made no reply. Literally, to me asking this, my father replied nothing. I know that once you get into the upper levels, Dr. Cape is going to prefer like this form, to me asking this, my father replied nothing, when you're doing stuff in class. Obviously, when you're turning in like a polished translation, when I asked this, my father made no reply, sounds a lot better in English. So this is a more polished version. This indicates that you understand the grammar. So on 26.2, that's what they're asking you to do, is a polished version of these, if you choose to do that. So let's look at the directions for 26.3. In the following sentences, put the verbs in parentheses into the correct form of the present participle and then translate the whole sentence. Okay, so in the example, they've got Horatia matrem spectabant canam parare. They want us to change parare to parentem. So Horatia watched her mother preparing supper. To get the right answer, first ask yourself what the present participle means. Parens means preparing. Then ask who was preparing supper. Answer, matrem was preparing supper, the mother. So the participle must agree with matrem. It has to be accusative and feminine and singular. Okay, so let's try this. Let's switch back over here. Okay, number 1. So the boys were working diligently in school, and then we have sit. Okay, hopefully I can check this out. Yes, I can. So the boys sitting in school is what we need to say. So first of all, to modify pueri singular or plural, obviously it's going to be plural. So we're going to need our plural nominative, because that's the subject, ending. So my stem is going to be sedent, because I've got my NT, and it's not going to be nominative singular. So the ending that needs to go after the NT is going to be ES, to be my third declension nominative plural ending. So the boys sitting in school were working diligently. I was about to say, does that make sense? But I can't hear you. So I guess I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me a question about it. Okay, number 2. But Quintus was not hearing the teacher about the old poet speak or say. So we've got decare. So my stem is going to be decant. So what I'm doing here, maybe that's not clear. Maybe that's the part that I'm skipping over. You've got your infinitive here. So you're going to drop off the RE just like you do for other stuff, and keep the DICE, and then add the NT to indicate the present participialness of the word. So who is doing the talking? It's going to be the teacher. So you did not hear the teacher talking. In what case is teacher? Since it's receiving the action of hearing, it's going to be accusative, and there's only one teacher, so it's going to be singular. It is masculine. So what's going to be my third declension, masculine singular accusative ending? Be decantem. Number 3, Orbilius saw him writing something on the tablet. So here we've got scribere. So my stem will be scribent. Again, I'm taking the infinitive, taking off the RE. Can I just, oh, no. Trying to get fancy. Well, take off the RE. And then the participle needs to modify him being Quintus. And him is going to be accusative and singular and masculine. So our ending is going to be scribentum. Oh no, I lost my text box. That's okay. Scribentum. Pretend that it looks good and fine. Okay, and number 4. The teacher asked him, the teacher, looking with a severe face, asked him, "What are you doing, Quintus?" So inspecere is our verb. So our stem is going to be inspicant. Okay. Or is it? So the teacher asked him, the teacher's doing the one looking with the severe face, right? So what case is your participle going to need to be? It's going to need to be nominative to agree with Magister. I was hoping they would do a nominative one as well. So we've got nominative. How many teachers are there? There is one, so it's going to be nominative singular. So finally, we get to have an NS, inspicans, as our present participle. Okay, that covers the grammar assignments for this chapter. If you have any questions, let me know. Send me an email, call me on the phone, and I will do my best to answer. Your other option, one of your other options for the grammar on this chapter is to do the verbs on 26.4. If you don't want to deal with the composition, you do not have to deal with the composition like this. You can do this instead, which is translating the following verb forms. So that is up to you. Okay, if you have any questions, just send them to me and I'll see y'all later.